Career Education and Workforce Development Department at Glendale Community College. My name's Antonio Del Real, and I'll be your host for today. Today, we're going to learn how to use LinkedIn and to find jobs and internships, connect with fellow alumni, develop your brand online, and learn about employability skills. Now, like I mentioned, joining me today is Ryan Zervakos, is a Southern California native and attended the University of Southern California with a Navy scholarship as part of the NROTC program. After graduating with a business degree, he was commissioned in the U.S. Navy's flight program. Ryan settled back in Southern California in 2009, worked in the e-learning industry. LinkedIn came along and fit perfectly with his passion for learning and giving him the ability to live out LinkedIn's ethos, dreaming big, having fun, and making things happen. Now, working specifically with colleges and universities, it is his mission to make sure every student knows how and why to use LinkedIn to create their own personal professional brand. Please help me welcome Ryan Zervakos uh, and give him the floor today.
Awesome. Thanks, everybody. I really appreciate the invite. Thanks, Antonio. It is my pleasure to be here today. And with this size group, I really hope we can have this a little bit more interactive. Feel free to ask questions. I'll stop and pause for questions. You can also post them in the chat, and Antonio or Maricela will let me know your questions. So I would love to be here and really just be a resource for you all. So as Antonio mentioned, I was born in California and went to USC, but I want to tell you a little bit about my story, which is that, I was the first from my family to go to college. I am the son of an immigrant. My mother is an immigrant from Colombia, so I'm Colombian. And that applies, that impacts my life in a lot of ways, right? And one of the things why it impacts and why it's so important to me to bring that up is because when I came to LinkedIn, I had no idea how to use LinkedIn. I had no idea. I was one of most people, honestly, most people don't know how to use LinkedIn the right way. And I was one of those people. And then I came to LinkedIn and I realized quite quickly that I didn't know what I was doing on LinkedIn. B, I didn't know what LinkedIn's mission was. Like, what were they trying to do? Like, I thought it was all about, jobs, and I thought it was all, I thought it was a little bit different than what it was. And then C, I realized really quickly, because my job is to work with colleges and universities, I realized really quickly that most college students don't have any idea how to use LinkedIn. And so this is not really my role. This is an extension of my role. And it's something that I love doing, which is to talk to anybody who will listen to tell you all how to use LinkedIn, because hopefully you will get the most out of it. And that's really, at the end of the day, what LinkedIn is all about. LinkedIn is about creating economic opportunity for everybody. It's not necessarily about, I go to LinkedIn when I need a job, which is what I thought it was, right? It's about a social media platform that's designed to bring a community together to help create opportunity. Now, opportunity is a really important word, because opportunity to me means different things to different people, economic opportunity specifically, right? You may be a college student right now, and you may not be looking for a job tomorrow, but you may be looking for a job when you graduate or when you get your associates, or you may be looking for an internship, right, in the summer. That's, right now you're in the middle of school, so you're not looking for an internship today, but you're looking for one in the future, right? Or opportunity, connecting people to opportunity might be, you might be helping somebody else get that opportunity. And that's the deal with this social media platform. So when I want you to do today, we're going to talk for the next about 45 minutes about LinkedIn. And I used to actually go through a slide deck and take some time on a slide deck and actually, go through that. And then I realized that slide decks aren't exactly the most compelling things in the world. So instead of going through a slide deck for 45 minutes, I'm actually going to dive into LinkedIn and show you examples. But the beauty of slide decks is that it has good information in it. So what I've done is I've dropped into the chat a slide deck that was created by a former student at University of California in Irvine. He went to UCI. And what he did with the slide deck is he really puts into terms that anybody can understand how you use LinkedIn. And so all of the stuff I'm going to talk about, I'm going to talk more about the why, and I'm going to show you examples. but the slide deck is more about the how. So you all can download the slide deck and go back to it at any time. Now, there are three things I want to talk about today. The three things that I want you to, when you leave here today, I want you to hopefully remember. The first thing is that LinkedIn is, the first thing is that you need to create a profile on LinkedIn. You need to establish a profile. Now, it is not a resume, okay? It is a personal brand. It is a place for you to tell your story. So that is the biggest thing that I didn't know until I came here, is that LinkedIn is not a resume. It is a place for you to share your story and to talk about your personal journey. So that's step one. That's what you have to do. Now, that's what 710 million people do. They create their profile, whether they upload their resume and they just do that, or they create a profile and a story. That's what 710 million people do, which is kind of cool. Now, step two is to grow your network. Now, all of you have heard that saying, it's not just what you know, it's who you know, right? Like, we've all heard that. Well, think about that in terms of where we are in our society today and how important networking is. LinkedIn allows you to grow your network. Now, here's the thing that is so powerful about social media today and LinkedIn in and of itself. And again, I only have my personal experiences to go back on, but I'd love to hear others on the call what they think. But when I was in school, one of the reasons I wanted to go to USC, even though I couldn't really afford it, right? I had to get a scholarship in order to go there, and I had to go in the military in order to go there, was because USC had this great alumni network. Well, back then, they used to introduce you to the alumni network, and you'd shake somebody's hand and you'd take their business card. Well, now, especially with COVID, that's not happening. But now what we're finding out is that you need to have a much larger network than just people that you've met in person. And what LinkedIn allows you to do, and I'll show you today, is it allows you to grow your network with anybody, anywhere that's on LinkedIn. You want a job at Netflix? I guarantee you there is somebody that went to your college that works at Netflix, right? Or you want a job at Apple, right? It doesn't matter where you want to work. More than likely, somebody is on LinkedIn that works at that company, and you can grow your network, or that somebody's doing the work that you want to do. It doesn't matter if you want to do an HVAC or automotive, or you want to be a software engineer. They're on LinkedIn. So growing your network is super, super important. So that's step two. Step one is a profile. Step two is growing your network. Step three is the most difficult. Step three is what a very, very few people do on LinkedIn, which is sharing your thoughts, sharing content on LinkedIn. Now, let's think about other social media platforms. Where would TikTok be if nobody shared any content? It wouldn't exist, right? Where would Instagram be if nobody shared any content? It literally wouldn't exist. Now, LinkedIn exists without content because we have a job board and we have our profiles, but what the engine that moves any social media is content, and it's interacting with your network. And the easiest way to do that is through content. So we're going to talk about those three things. And instead of me going through a slide deck, I'm going to show you how that looks on LinkedIn, and we'll do that right now. And then you guys, you all can ask questions, and hopefully this will not be super boring for you. If it is super boring for you, please don't tell me it is, because I have really low self-esteem and I'll be really sad. Okay. All right. Let's start here. So let's take a look at some profiles of some students. So I'm going to start with Tammy Tran. She's a student that I've worked with for a little bit. I'm going to show you a few different students so you can see what their profiles look like. The first thing I want to talk about is your profile picture. You have to have a profile photo. It's 2020. People are going to get to know, they're going to know what you look like. All right. So here you are able to craft your brand and your image. It doesn't need to be professional. You can use your cell phone, take a snapshot, take a selfie, and just crop out your head, because really it should just be a headshot only. 70% of our traffic is on a mobile device, and the real estate on a mobile device is so small that you only need a headshot. The background photo, what I've seen a lot of students do is they'll grab a photo of the school or a cityscape or something like that and put it in there. So it's super easy to do. Let me show you how easy it is to add a background photo. You just click on me, go under view profile. And then once you're in the profile, you click on this pencil. And what we do is we have this ability to change or upload the photo. This is the background photo I have. Now I want to show you, this is very new to LinkedIn. We only added this a few weeks ago. You can grab some of these background images if you'd like, or you can show that you're an ally to the Black Lives Matter movement or to the LGBTQ community. Now, personally, LinkedIn is, we want you to use this as your own profile and platform and have it speak to you. One thing I want you to know is that LinkedIn is committed, unlike any other social media company that I know of, they're committed to diversity, inclusion, and belonging. They're committed to equity. They're committed to ending harassment and bullying on the platform. Now, one way we can do that is because we eliminate 99% of fake profiles. So I want you to feel more comfortable with LinkedIn, because you're going to have a different experience on LinkedIn, because people cannot be, they cannot be anonymous. And when you're not anonymous, you basically don't say the things that get said on other social media platforms. Number one. Number two, because you can't create all these other platforms, when people say and do things that are inappropriate, we deal with it very quickly. So I want you to feel comfortable with being on LinkedIn. Now, the other thing I want to talk about is this headline area. Now, this headline area, most people prefer to say their current job or their current internship, and then they also will maybe say what school they go to. The problem is that it's right here on the headline. It's already there, what school you're going to. So I think you should be more aspirational. Here, Tammy says she's a student aiming to tell stories through technology. You can talk about being an aspiring graphic designer, or, you can even use a tagline here, because what I want you to think of when you think of LinkedIn is I want you to think of it more as this place for you to build your brand that is more compelling. Now, the deal is that most people think of LinkedIn as a resume, and this about section and the headline as a resume cover letter. So they're writing all these keywords like, discipline and hardworking, and, they're doing keyword dumps, because that's what a lot of people tell them to do, because that's the way it used to be 4 or 5 years ago. It's not that way anymore. It's now about being authentic, because the more authentic you are, the more compelling your profile is, and the more likely that somebody is going to reach out to you and say, I want to give you an opportunity, right? That's really what we're talking about here. Now, I want to pause to see if there are any questions or if anybody's posted anything in the chat.
Yes, there's a question. How are you able to verify that these are real people? I noticed you mentioned there's 99% of fake, trying to take out fake accounts.
Sure. So there are a couple of things that we do. First is you have to have a real phone number. You cannot use a Google Voice number. Just that by itself means that you eliminate fake profiles, because you can easily tie back a phone number to a real person. The email address is another thing as well, but the real phone number is key. If we don't know, like if the real phone number if the phone number doesn't tie it back, then we will actually ask for proof of identification. I've seen it. You'll have to upload a driver's license or a passport. So that's how you do it. The deal, and here's the key for whoever asked that question. Even with that high bar, we are still growing at a rate of 3 new members per second. Even with that high bar, we're still growing very, very quickly. Now, the reason why it's so powerful, and why, again, I'm super passionate about this company, because this is the long game. If you look at Facebook, which is like the arch nemesis, right? It's this evil empire. They don't care about integrity within the platform. They just wanted to grow it. They want to say they have 5 billion people, 5 billion. Well, yeah, they've got probably 2 billion are duplicate profiles, right? What LinkedIn has done is they said, no, we want to grow it organically and properly, because we want to be a professional platform that you go to the platform and you trust our platform. Now, I'm not going to say we're perfect. Nobody's perfect. I will also tell you that there are a lot of nefarious people trying to mess with the platform, because there are a lot of terrible people in this world. To that point, I want to show you one thing. It's really important to protect your password, because since it's not easy to create fake profiles and we get rid of them, people try to hack your profile. So I want to show you really quickly. Go under settings and privacy, and go under sign in and security, and then click on two-step verification and add two-step verification. Turn this on, and they will either send you an email or send you a text message whenever you're logging in on a new device. Trust me, this helps. Somebody tried to hack my account. I was on my way to Sacramento about a year ago, and my cell phone popped up that somebody was trying to log in. So highly recommend that everybody does a two-step verification. Any other questions? Awesome. So let's focus on the about section here real quickly. And I'm going to hover on the about section for about 5 minutes or so and show you some of these things. Let's look at Tammy's. Tammy says, when I was 7, Harry Potter taught me English when I first immigrated to the Bay Area. As a passionate learner, I jumped straight into teaching myself English and became obsessed with the way stories are told and how they connect people from all backgrounds. From writing my own fan fictions to debating case studies on a national stage, I love bringing ideas to life. I love this because, first of all, she's owning the fact that she's an immigrant, right? She taught herself English, right, at a young age. She came here without knowing English. She had to learn English. These are things that when you talk about resumes and you try to put keywords on there, you say I'm hardworking and I'm disciplined. That doesn't go a long way because everybody says that. But how many people say and own, that, hey, I taught myself English or I immigrated, right? They don't tell their stories. And these stories show more than just say. It's an ability for you to share your story and show how you are who you are today. And that's what I want you to be able to do. It doesn't matter how much work experience you have a lot of life experience, I guarantee it. It doesn't matter if you're 18 or 19 and your experience is high school experience, that's okay, right? I know for a fact that a lot of high schoolers are juggling, whether working through your way through high school or you're working your way through college, or you've played a sport, or you are into dance, or you've practiced you've been playing the piano all your life. These are things like, in order to get good at anything, you have to be disciplined, right? And so these are things that you can showcase on your profile. Now, the other thing you can do on your profile is you can add digital content, like if you're a graphic designer or a graphic artist, or you are into marketing, or you want to put a video of what you've done or who you are, you can actually put that in the featured section on LinkedIn. So here, Tammy's actually uploaded a marketing project she's done. So you see the difference between Tammy's profile and a regular profile where people put a summary cover letter and they don't put any feature section, or they don't put a background photo. This immediately tells a hiring manager or recruiter that Tammy means business, that Tammy's at least taken a little bit of time to curate her own professional brand. I'm not talking about like years, and I'm not talking about weeks or months, but you need to spend a little bit of time. This is going to be the hardest thing you do initially. But here's the beauty. Once you create your LinkedIn profile, you're done. You don't have to keep doing it over and over again. It's done. It's good to go. So you can take a little bit of time. And the beauty is you've got resources. You've got resources on your campus. The Career Services Office, they'll help you. If you want to curate your about section, you reach out to them and you say, hey, this is what I'm thinking about writing. You're more than welcome to connect with me. I only charge $50 each time you talk to me, but it's okay. I need all the money I can get. Just kidding. I do not charge any money. You are definitely welcome to connect with me. And I'm happy to bounce. If you have an about section or a question, you're more than welcome to ask it of me anytime. Let me show you a couple others. I'm going to show you Christina. Christina has a great profile here. Sorry. This is a newer user interface with LinkedIn, and sometimes it's a little bit buggy. Come on, Christina's profile. There we go. All right, so let's take a look at her about section. In her about section, she just writes a story. She's like, I love the airport, the frenzy of rolling suitcases, businessmen hurrying by and people rushing to find the gate at the right time for the right flight. It's every woman for herself. Why do I share this? Because it shows where, why, and how I thrive. And then she goes into writing about how she enjoys fast-paced environments and all of the accomplishments she's done through her life. Now, not all of us are as accomplished, and I get that. We all have a different story to tell. All right, let's take a look at Bridget's here. Bridget is a current student at Cal State University. Here she's an aspiring HR coordinator, and you can see here's her profile, and she starts with a great saying, and I think that's an easy one. I'm not super creative, and I'm not a great writer, so if I think starting with a tagline, and even if somebody else's words, that's great. Here she says, complacency is a contagious struggle that we all have to fight, which is the truth, right? We all have to fight that. And so she talks about, personally, I know what it's like to feel complacent and lost in my career. And then she just goes through her story. And then she talks about her accomplishments. So this is a really great profile that anybody can do. You don't have to be, a rock star student. I wasn't a rock star student. You don't have to be the best of the best. Everybody has a story to tell. So I want to focus on this right here to tell you that when you are applying for jobs nowadays, what's happening, especially because of COVID, our usage on LinkedIn has never been higher. But what's happening is that hiring managers are deciding on whom they are going to interview based on LinkedIn profiles. So your resume is going to be sitting on somebody's desk, right? Along with 5 or 6 or 7 other resumes, where they're going to bring all of these resumes and all these applicants down to a pool of maybe 10. And they're going to decide, who are we going to interview? And they're going to look at your resume, and they're going to, every single one before they interview you, they're going to search LinkedIn. 100% of Fortune 500 companies pay LinkedIn to find talent. 90% of corporate recruiters pay LinkedIn to find talent. So we know that they're searching you. So what does that mean? That means I want you to have the most opportunity when somebody looks at your profile for them to go, I want to interview her, or I want to interview him. And when you tell your story, it gives you that opportunity. Now, going into the experience section, this is where you can also start telling more of a story about what you do. You'll notice here, Bridget embedded some digital media in her experience section. You can talk about your company. You can talk about what you've done. It doesn't have to be bullet point. You can upload your resume if you want to. But the bottom line is, it's your profile. It is not a resume. It does have your experiences on it, but it does not have to be like a resume. It can be in a story format. All right, does anybody have any other questions about the profile before I go on to step 2? No other questions? Okay, great. Now, step 2 is to grow your network. Growing your network is super important. So what I did is I searched Glendale Community College. You'll notice that whenever you do searches, they stay populated for a while. So I'm going to click on Glendale Community College right here, and it's going to pull up your community college. And if you happen to be going to another school, you can drop it in the chat, and I can always search those schools as well. Now, remember when I talked about LinkedIn trying to level the playing field and wanting to go to USC because of an alumni network? Well, here's what LinkedIn has done for free. This is not part of premium. Everything I'm going to tell you today is free. Every single college or university in the United States, actually in pretty much in the world, every single one has a school page. Now, remember, you need to make sure you go to the school page. I'll show you what I'm talking about. If you go to Glendale Community College and you start typing it, you'll notice that there's a company page here. Do not go to the company page, go to the school page. Those are 2 different pages. In fact, Glendale CC shouldn't have a company page, but hey, whatever, it's all good. Now, when you scroll down the school page, you'll notice there's a tab here. It's called the Alumni tab. Click on the Alumni tab. And what this does is it pulls up all 17,600 people that have gone to GCC that put it on their profile. We tell you where they live. We tell you where they work. We even tell you what they do and what they studied. So I would love for somebody in the chat to tell me what company they'd love to work for that is not on this list of really good companies. Like we've got B of A and Wells Fargo. Does somebody have a company they'd be interested in? And if somebody does, if Maricela or Antonio, you can tell me. What's a good company for me to search? Anyone?
See, before I'm gonna let them see if anyone wants to give me a company. If not, I'm gonna choose my company.
Is Disney on here?
Is Disney? Disney is on here. Check it out.
Disney.
Disney's right here. It's top list. If anybody else wants another one, what we can do is we can just put it in the search. But because Disney's right here, you can just click on this bar. What this does is it means that there are 32 people that have gone to GCC and work at Disney. And so what you can do, yeah, if you wanted to narrow it down, you could be like, okay, I only want people that are in LA, right? Or in Orange County. So let's narrow it down to LA. And then what we're going to do is we're going to scroll down and we're going to see who they are and what they do. So Melinda's director of sales, security specialist, manager. So this person is substitute teacher. So maybe it's part-time at Disney. The bottom line is what you can do here is you can actually click on connect and click on add a note. Now, here's what you need to say in the note. You can say whatever you want, but here's my opinion of what you should say. It should always start with who you are, why you're connecting. And it should literally start with, I am a current student, all right? I am a current student and if you're connecting with an alumni, I'm a current student at GCC. Why am I connecting? I noticed you work at Disney. I would love to work at Disney. Do you have time for an informational interview? What's life like at Disney, right? Short and simple. If you don't want to do an informational interview, you might just want to say, I'm a current student at GCC and I'm building out my network on LinkedIn, and I would love to have somebody in my network that works at Disney. That's it. Now, not everybody is going to accept your connection, and that's not an indictment on you. I want to take you back to the original stat I told you. We have 710 million members. The percentage of members that actually use LinkedIn on a regular basis, and why do you mean regularly? I mean just once a month, is only 40%. 40. So if you think of doing 5 connection requests, basically 3 of 5 are not going to respond to you because they're just not on LinkedIn very often. I mean, it's not really quite that bad, but it could be, right? So I want you to know that you're going to have to put out connection requests on a regular basis, and you're probably only going to have maybe 20 or 30% respond. It's not because they don't like you or don't know you. It's because they probably don't even know that you've connected with them. All right. So I want you just to be comfortable with putting it out there. My idea is that you do 4 or 5 connection requests a day for a little while and let your network grow organically. Are there any other places that people want to see if there are employees that work there, or did anybody put it in the chat, Antonio?
No, but
Nope.
selfishly, I'm thinking about SpaceX
Ooh,
or
SpaceX.
Tesla.
Let's check out SpaceX. So drum roll, please. SpaceX. 7 people are working at SpaceX. So we can scroll down here, and wow, Sophia's a suit fabricator. Very cool. And she graduated in 2018, right? Propulsion technician. So you can click on any one of these and you can connect with them and say, hi, what's up, right?
Hi, what's up?
Yeah, exactly. The other thing that you can do is, it looks like I deleted that. If you want a Tesla, it's the same thing. Just search Tesla. Tesla definitely has people there because they have a retail arm. So you got 4 people that work at Tesla. So that's one way you could do it. Now, let's say for the sake of argument, you don't have any alumni that are working there, or you do, but they're not enough. So let's just take Tesla, for example, because there are only 4 alumni. So you go to the Tesla company page here. Remember, this is social media. So you can follow the company page, which I highly recommend, because when you follow the company page, you get to see what they're posting about. So they posted content on here 5 days ago, right? They posted, we're looking for highly motivated manufacturing leaders in Texas. All right, maybe you don't want to work in Texas. That's okay. But you can like it or comment on it, right? Here, 1 month ago, they were talking about something else and you're able to make a comment and like it. But the bottom line is you can actually follow that, the company. You can follow thought leaders and influencers. The other thing that you can do is you can click on this People tab. And underneath the People tab, look what it looks like. It looks exactly like the Alumni tab, except instead of showing you everybody that's gone to that school, that college or university, it's telling you everybody that works for that company. Now you can be like, oh man, I want to know if anybody at that company is in Los Angeles. So I'm going to see how many are in the greater Los Angeles area. And there are 1,000 in the greater Los Angeles area. And then I can be like, well, I'm really interested in being in sales. I want to sell for Tesla, or I'm in arts and design. How do I get a job in art and design for Tesla? Well, there are 97 people that are in art and design for Tesla in LA. And then you can go down here and be like, okay, I'm going to connect with them. Okay. This is how easy it is to grow your network. Now, let me share with you a success story. Michael is a former student at Saddleback College here in Orange County. I live in South Orange County, and I happened to do one of these workshops a few years ago. And so he was a student in 2018. I did this workshop. I did the same workshop, and he was at that workshop. And then a year later, I came back and I did the workshop for that group again. He was in the accounting society, and he came up to me and he's like, I just want to tell you my story. And he's like, I was in your workshop a year ago, and I was like, what you said, I was one of those people that had a LinkedIn profile, didn't know what to do, and I only had 2 people in my network. He said, when I left the workshop, I just made it my mission to grow my network. Just start there, grow my network. He said it took him 3 months to go from 2 people in his network to over 500. And he said the cool thing that happened is before the 4th month, right around the 4th month, this company, Cengage, reached out to him because he had grown his network. They reached out to him. They found him on LinkedIn. They offered him a campus ambassador position with a guaranteed job when he graduates his 4-year degree. And now he is at Cal State Fullerton getting his 4-year degree, and he's going to have a job waiting for him when he graduates. Every one of you can do this. It is not hard to grow your network on LinkedIn. It's super easy to grow your network on LinkedIn. It just takes a little bit of time and a little bit of effort. And this is what I love about LinkedIn. It doesn't matter what your background is. It doesn't matter if your parents, are immigrants and they have their own business and they never went to college and they don't have this large network. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It matters what you want to get out of it. And that's what I love about it, because it's free. It works on your phone. You can do this on your phone. You don't need a desktop or a laptop. So it's super easy to do. Anybody can do it. And that's why I love doing these workshops, because anybody who wants to take advantage of it can. Does anybody have any questions about growing your network? Yes, you're raising your hand. Go ahead.
Let's say if you don't necessarily know like a specific, or you don't want to be a part of a specific company, but you want to get into another area of work or another area of industry. Like for instance, if I wanted to connect with organizational development trainers, but I don't know one, for instance, how would I would just search the title. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a really good question. So what you can do is, in addition, that's a really good segue. I can't see your name, but usually I try to address you by name, but thank you so much for asking that question. You have the ability on LinkedIn to join groups. So what we can do is we can look for organizational development in groups. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to search organizational development, but then I'm going to narrow it down here. See where it says groups? So what I want to do is I just want to search groups, and we have 1,900 groups on organizational development. So what you can do is you can say, I want to find some of these groups that maybe align. So this one looks like a pretty good. This group is for professionals interested in developing organizational capabilities. So you can click on this, and what you can do is then request to join. Now, once you request to join, here's the interesting thing is I work in organizational development. So LinkedIn Learning, the product I sell, is for organizational development. So I have 31 connections that are in this group. I know these people, few of these people really well. So here's what it looks like when you actually are part of the group. And I'm going to show you a part of the group, a group that I'm actually affiliated with here. When you are part of the group, there are a couple of huge things that you get. First is that you get to see all of the members up here. And when you see all the members, now you can actually message them. Even though you're not connected to them, you can message them for free. Or you could be like, let's go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and try and connect with them. So you can actually connect with people that are in the same like thought leadership or line of work that you're interested in. The other thing that's cool about it is that you can organically grow your network, because these people are going to be posting content directly to this group and this group only. Once you're a member of that group, you see this content on your feed. And so you can start commenting on it. So here, I can be like, boom, I like it. I'm going to comment on here, and you can start growing your network organically that way. Okay. So that's one way to do it. The other way to do it is just to search for, if you're interested in general in organizational development, you can just search for people that have that title as well. So you can look for people with the job title that you're interested in, and grow your network that way. Okay. Does that make sense?
Thank you.
So very good question. Anybody else have any questions about growing your network? All right. So I want to go to step 3 real quick with the last 15 minutes we've got. And this is going to be the biggest lift. This is going to be the hardest thing to do. But I promise you, if you do this, it will make a difference. Okay. That is to post your own content. Now, here's how easy it is to post content. You just click on start a post up in the middle of this feed, and you can start talking about whatever you want to talk about. Now, the hard part is figuring out what you want to talk about. So I suggest starting with things that you've read that you think other people would be interested in. if you read an interesting industry article, you're all going to school right now, you can read that article online. And let's just say it's the LA Times, right? You pull something, and I want to show you how easy it is to do it. So I just grabbed a link from the LA Times, I copied it, and I pasted it into my feed in here. And once I do that, what it does is it pulls in the thumbnail URL image of whatever I'm interested in that's on the internet. Okay, it can be from Tesla, or it can be like, in your case, if you read an interesting organizational development topic, right, or you're learning about it, right, you can post that on LinkedIn. I read this great article, and you can even start talking about, I read this great article, wanted to share, boom, right? You can talk more about it. I think you should talk a little bit more about it, but the bottom line is short and sweet here for you all. What else can you do on social media? You can tag people. So if I wanted to tag somebody, I could tag Ariana, and you can tag, and I can delete her last name so it still tags her, but it only does her first name. If I want to tag, Edgar here, I can tag Edgar. My computer's really slow today. And then I can also add hashtags, right? So if I wanted to do LinkedIn or whatever, I can do whatever hashtag I want. So when you think about LinkedIn, I want you to think about it as a social media platform where when you post content, you really escalate how many people see your profile and how many people connect with you, and you increase your opportunity to get a job. When you post content, it will help you get a job, I promise you. Now, the reason why it's so powerful is because to post content is because of our 710 million members, only 0.5%. Let me reiterate that. Only 0.5% of LinkedIners regularly post content. By regularly, I mean once a week. I'm not saying their own content. I'm saying just posting any content. Now, how many college students do you think are posting content? It's basically zero. So when you post content, it may not have 10,000 people look at it. But what happens is this, right? You've posted content. I'm going to discard it because I don't want to post that. What happens is the things that happen to, like, Ariana. I'm going to share you Ariana's story. When you post content, it automatically goes on your feed. Maybe not a lot of people see it, but it's very easy. In this case, Ariana, what she did is she linked directly to her content that she posted on LinkedIn. But even if she didn't, it's easy to go under see all activity, and you can see what kind of posts she's done. You can see that she posts content on a regular basis over here, right? Now, going back to her homepage, when you post content, and what she's done here is she's featured it, you can easily see the type of content that she's posted. So I ask you, if you're saying, I am hardworking and I am disciplined and I, I'm super passionate about organizational development, and that's it, right? And you upload your resume and you say that in your about section, which is what most people do, and that's it. Well, that's cool. That's like a resume. But when I'm looking to see if I want to interview you, what if I look at the next person, and what she's done is she's told her story about her upbringing or overcoming adversity or all this stuff that has taught her discipline and hard work, right? You've told a story about that. And within your featured section, you've posted some content. You read this great content about organizational development. And maybe you record a quick video about why you want to be in OD, right? That tells a completely different story because A, it takes a lot of confidence to do this, a lot of confidence, right? And B, it takes some hard work and discipline. Everybody can say they're hardworking. It's very hard to show you're a hard worker, right? And so taking time to do this, even posting once every other week or once a week, commenting regularly, it takes work. It's not easy. This is social media, but it is not TikTok. I know it's not TikTok. I'm not going to pretend it's TikTok or Insta, right? Those are fun and you can suck your time away with those. But if you spend 5 to 10 minutes a day trying to grow your network, like I showed you, which takes 10 seconds, commenting on a few posts, and every now and then posting content, you're going to be doing more than what 99% of people do. And then you never know what you can do. You can have the success that Ariana had. Ariana, let me tell you her story. She's the first generation from her family to go to school. She's going to San Diego State. She saw this internship opportunity on LinkedIn called Super Purposes. Now, she applied through LinkedIn, but she did something different that nobody really ever does. what she did is she found the CEO of the company, because Super Purposes is not a big company like LinkedIn. It's a smaller company. And she did a connection request with Super Purposes. And she said, "Hi, my name is Ariana. I just wanted to grow my network, and I wanted to let you know that I applied for an internship and I would love an opportunity for an interview." That's it. She sent a connection request saying, "I'm Ariana, I'm a current student, and I'd love a chance to get an internship." What Ariana wasn't expecting was that the CEO not only would accept her connection request, would look at her profile, because remember, you can see who looks at your profile. So what happens in this sequence of events? This is not in a vacuum. Ariana sends this message out to a very important person. The very important person doesn't just click yes, they're going to click on your profile. They're going to see who she is. And they see that she's got her profile picture, her background photo. They see her great about section. They see that she's posted content regularly. They see her experience here that's not just a resume, that's got information in it. And then what she did, she being the CEO, reached back out to Ariana and said, "I am so impressed. No college student has ever reached out to me on LinkedIn. You are going to get an interview next week." Mm-hmm. She got the interview, and during the call, the recruiter said, "Normally these interviews, I have to do 3 interviews. We have to do 3 different interviews with 3 different people in order to give you the job. But my CEO was so impressed with you. She said, if I was impressed with you, to offer you a job on the spot. So you got the job. Do you want it?" That's what LinkedIn can do. No other platform can do that. It cost Ariana $0. It cost her nothing but a little bit of time and effort. And just like her, and just like Vanessa is another example. Again, Vanessa is a first generation from her family to go to school. Look at where she's working. She's working at Blizzard Entertainment. Blizzard. I know a director of HR at Blizzard, and they had 5 internship openings last year. They had 40,000 people apply. 40,000 people apply. Vanessa got her first job out of college at NYX Professional Cosmetics as a junior HR associate using LinkedIn, because when she applied for the job, because she had grown her network, there was somebody within her network that worked at NYX. And she just talked to them, and they were able to help her get an interview. That's all LinkedIn can do, is help you get an interview. Well, because of COVID, NYX had to close every single one of their 90 locations across the country. So she lost her job. Within a month, during COVID, this just happened 2 months ago, she got a job at Blizzard as an HR coordinator, using LinkedIn, connecting with people, applying through LinkedIn. She now works at Blizzard. That's why I love this platform. You don't have to go to Stanford or USC or any one of the correct schools. You can go to whatever school you want to go to. You can use your network to give yourself the most opportunity. So with that, I've got 5 minutes left. I'd love to answer any more of your questions, and go from there.
Yeah, I have a question.
Go for it.
What if someone is already like set in their career path and like already are set like in terms of where they're working and that's where they want to work? How is it? How would you encourage them to use this platform?
I would encourage them to, first of all, I would encourage them to do what I talked about, which is to change your profile to make it less like a resume. Okay. And I'll tell you why. And I'm going to show you, and of course, I'm super biased because the person I'm going to show you is my brother, right? But I want to tell you my brother's story. He had been with this small company you may never have heard of, IBM, right? Been with IBM for almost 6 years. Loved his job, absolutely loved his job with IBM. And then IBM decided to buy another company in Europe, and the government said, you cannot have all of these companies, you have to divest some. So his division was divested. So he went from IBM to this small company called Acoustic. Same exact job, same exact leadership, but now a private equity firm bought it, and now you've got different CEO. It's been miserable. He hated it. So he decided to change his profile about a few months ago and just changed it to what I talked about, which is being authentic. And he talks about his job and he just gives a glimpse into himself. He literally posted this, and the very next day, he got a recruiter reaching out to him. So my point is, you don't necessarily know when you're going to need opportunity. That's one thing. So having your profile out there, and again, he changed his profile. He didn't say, "Hey, I'm looking for a job." He didn't say that. He just wanted to be authentic on this profile, and it brings more opportunity to you. So that's step one. Step two is, for those people that are really happy with their job, like I am, do you think I'm not on LinkedIn? No, I'm not going anywhere. I love LinkedIn. Hopefully everything works out for me. But when you are on LinkedIn and you're posting content and you're commenting on people's content, what happens is you're helping other people. I connect with students all the time. So all of you, if you want to connect with me, if you post content, what do you think I'm going to do? Well, I'm going to comment on it, or I'm going to share it. Why? Well, because here's how powerful the network is, right? I noticed that Evelyn is on this line here, right? So let's say Evelyn is the CEO of a major company and I am a student. Now, Evelyn and I are not connected to each other, but I'm connected to Marisala. Now, Marisala is connected to Antonio, and Antonio is connected to Evelyn. If I never do anything on LinkedIn, right, then I'm not going to be able to get to Evelyn. But if I post content as a student, then maybe Marisala sees it and she makes a comment on it. It goes on my feed. Now, Antonio is kind of like you were saying. He's great at his job. He's happy. He's not going anywhere. But he's on LinkedIn. He's engaged in LinkedIn, and he sees my comment. He sees my post, and he's like, "Oh, I like this," or I'm going to comment on it. Well, now it goes on his feed. And guess what? Evelyn is connected to Antonio. Evelyn is CEO. She's looking for talent. She has an opportunity to see my post. Just being on LinkedIn and just by engaging in the feed, this is what social media does. This is how you connect to opportunity. It's not like it used to be, where it's like you have to message everybody and you got to shake everybody's hand. By putting yourself out there on social media, you're giving yourself the opportunity for somebody else that's looking for talent or has an opportunity to see you without being connected to you. So that's what I just wish more people would be engaged on LinkedIn, because inadvertently they could help other people get a job. So I hope that answers your question.
Thank you.
Awesome. Evelyn, if you are a CEO in real life, that'd be cool.
She's clapping her hands. She's already in it. She knows it.
Awesome. So we're at the top of the hour. I've got a few extra minutes if you all have any questions, but if you don't, I hope you've enjoyed this workshop. I'm glad I get a chance to chat with you all. Do you all have any more questions for me before I wrap up?
Last minute questions, feel free to unmute yourself or add it to the chat.
No worries if you don't.
So if we wanted to reach out to you.
If you want to reach out to me, yeah.
We might have someone.
Go ahead. Did somebody have a question?
I don't have a question, but I just wanted to say thank you so much. I'm an instructor here and I teach a lot of students. I teach English language learners who are learning English, and this is very useful for us to also, as faculty, to also know about these features so that we can share them with our students. One question I do have, though, is that sometimes I get just connection requests from people. I have no idea who they are. Mm-hmm. They're coming sometimes from other countries, and I'm thinking, should I accept these people? I kind of ignore them just because I'm just not. And that's why I asked you the question of how do we verify that they're actually real people?
Yeah, here's my thought process on that. If you're established in your career, you don't necessarily need to grow your network. If they're out of the country, I get at connection requests, and I don't if they're out of the country, because they really can't help my career. If I'm a student, I would connect with just about anybody that's in this country that is real. And you can easily go on their profile to see if they're engaged and they've got a profile and they've got stuff in it. If they have a very sparse profile and there's nothing there, then I wouldn't connect with them because they're not serious about LinkedIn. They're just trying to grow their network.
Yeah. Okay.
They may be a bot. We do eliminate 99%, but there is a percentage that do get through, and then we try and get them off. So I hope that answers your question. I would just kind of be picky for you. For students, I'd be less picky.
Thank you.
No problem. Well, feel free to reach out to me. Anybody on here, I dropped my name in the chat with the link to my profile. So feel free to connect with me. And if you have any questions, feel free to DM me, okay?
Great, thank you.
Thank you, Ryan. And then like he mentioned, I think on top of the hour when he started is a lot of HR companies are going through LinkedIn and reaching out to people for jobs. And I was at a conference today that essentially for engineers, they were saying that within this professional organization, they weren't able to find talent. it's because a lot of people are not using LinkedIn or not updating their LinkedIn. So one of the things, and I'll be honest, I'm probably right now, I need to go on and do my own work because I think I have my own established. I feel like I'm comfortable, but at the same time, if I want to pass it on and or help others, I can have students reach out to me and do information interviews with me and be able to do that. So thank you for that inspiration, right? And hopefully that inspires everyone here to kind of move forward. On top of that, before we end, I also want to do a shout out to our Career Center. If you would like to work on your LinkedIn, have a one-on-one with our career counselors, please feel free to reach out to our website. I also added it onto this link. Um, we have amazing counselors that can do one-on-ones. We also have side workshops, but I really wanted to bring in Ryan, being that he works at the company, to be able to give us the insight of what's going on in his side of this world. And like you mentioned, they just updated the platform, so there's new things always coming up. Um, but thank you,
Yep.
everyone. Thank you, Ryan, for your time, and hopefully we can connect soon.
Absolutely. Thanks, everybody. Have a good one.
All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome.